It is said that wars are only won upon the anvil of honor.
Others believe victory requires strategy and a mastery of power.
War is deception. A game played best from the shadows.
Only strength and raw power can assure total dominance.
But of course, you could forget all that and just have fun! Hearthstone! Heroes of Warcraft!
With regards to the lineups, I feel like Hype has a better lineup as well. Like, I don't like the Paladin that much, as Max mentioned.
Oh, buddy.
Oh, right. Oh, my God. Wait, this is not what I was expecting.
Well, that is ambitious. This is aggro Paladin. I think he's going to keep that entire hand, actually.
Wait, is Stan the player? Like, we heard a rumor that there is a player just wrecking everybody with an aggro Paladin.
Is this that deck?
This is this deck. He was just winning versus everyone.
Hyped kept the SI. Does he know that it's aggro Paladin?
Well, Hyped seems like he has this third, like fourth sense or fifth sense, whatever. Right now he knows. There was secret.
Well, I really
Hype is like, okay. He seemed shocked a bit, like he was blinking.
Absolutely shameless. Aggro Paladin. As if enough classes didn't play 2 Leper, no.
I really actually like the aggro Paladin against Hype's lineup. I think it's favored against the Rogue here. I think it's probably favored against Handlock as well. And I think it'll give the Hunter a good run for its money. So
we have to completely reassess
the
matchups just because of this change. So Hype was expecting Avenge to pop there, because I think because assuming that secret was Avenge, it would come down before the Creeper, so one of the spiders would get the buff. That's why we saw Hype kind of pause there after making that play. And Ruby and Egg, it's cool. We don't see that often in this type of deck. And that Defender of Argus draw is also going to be pretty strong.
I think like overall Stan's hand is really good with good curve, good secrets, Defender of Argus on turn 4, and Divan Favor to replenish his hand if needed, especially against the Miracle Rogue, or kind of like a Rogue which has a lot of draw.
So Hype knows this is pretty much 100% Noble Sacrifice at this point. So he knows his attack here will have, the same outcome no matter what he goes with. Question is, do you attack at all? I think there's no reason not to.
yeah, I think you're absolutely right. There is no reason not. Like, one consideration is if you think perhaps there is another Noble Sacrifice, but you're gonna pop the Noble Sacrifice either with a dagger or with the 3/3, and you might as well pop it with the 3/3.
Alright, so if this is Avenge as the second secret, and that lands on Nerubian Egg, I guess you go with the Sap then. Okay. Alright, so Backstab Fan, or Backstab SI. SI, get more board presence, I like it. Fan of Knives is a phenomenal card against Aggro Mage. We see a lot of 1 health minions coming out of this deck. It kills the hero power tokens. Strong against what's left over from Haunted Creeper. He does go with the Fan over the SI. That's an interesting choice.
I think it's still fine, but this Defender of Argus will do a lot of work. Just creating a 4 from Nerubian.
This deck seems a little bit more mid-rangey. We saw the Divine Favor and assumed it was aggro, but now we're seeing Eldor Peacekeeper, which is kind of a card that's better for slowing the game down. It's not particularly aggressive. Same thing with Defender of Argus. It's more of a mid-rangey deck with the Divine Favor to refill, which is cool.
Yeah, this game is really interesting. Also, Hyped is playing the kind of like a mid-range Miracle Rogue with Violet Teacher. What else is like different in Hype's deck?
I think it's just pretty standard. Probably something similar to what Kalento played in Viagame, just like Violet Teachers. Oh, this plays Farseers, though. I don't believe that list did. So this is basically the best version against Hunter. You have like a 4-mana Auctioneer. That preparation draw is huge, too. Let him actually develop a minion and deal with the board in the same turn. I think I've seen Hype play preparation more aggressively than any other player. Well, you know, oftentimes the team will approach him, and I'd approach him for like Miracle Rogue help back when we were learning how to play the deck, and he would like, no matter what his hand was, just like preparations turn 2 in every matchup. Not always, but a lot of times.
Yeah, like most of the players just keep it for the auctioneer,
Mhm.
and if they don't get the auctioneer, they end up with a dead card. If he's playing it aggressively, he probably knows what he's doing.
There was a situation earlier where I actually used preparation on a deadly poison on turn 2
Wow.
to kill an Undertaker.
That's quite the card, Undertaker. It forces the prep deadly poison on turn 2.
So it's definitely a card that can be used aggressively, and it's something that a lot of players do forget.
Mhm.
So it's really good to see people using it aggressively.
So do you like saving the Eviscerate here, or playing it out to keep your Violet Teacher a little bit higher on health?
I'm fine with eviscerating the 3/3, trading 1/1 into 1/1, and keep healing 2/2 with weapon attack and attacking face.
I agree with that. Otherwise, you're just so vulnerable to Consecrate. You don't want that Violet Teacher taking 2 damage. You'd also leave the Paladin with a 1/1.
And it protects your Violet Teacher from a True Silver Champion as well.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I like how Hyped was able to empty his hand, so he's not vulnerable to Divine Favor.
Oh, Secret Keeper, boys. I didn't think it would play this. I streamed Aggro Paladin with Secret Keeper, but I didn't play Peacekeeper or Defender, so his list is very different, more mid-rangey. Very cool. Interesting, so he's going to play his minions out before the Divine Favor. I guess, yeah, Divine Favor would draw him, what, like 1 card there? That makes sense.
It seems like the Secret Keeper is almost like a slightly worse
Undertaker, exactly, yeah.
in a lot of matchups.
Oh wow, a backstab pickup.
The real drawback to it is it makes you play Redemption, or whatever the name of the secret is that returns a dude to life.
That was so important because not only he was able to remove a 3/3 minion for 0 mana card, he's also denying 1 more card from Divine Favor.
Mm-hmm. Jeez, you'll almost never see Divine Favor being this bad against Miracle Rogue, but Hyped has just aggressively played his cards out. Turn 4 preparation. Oh, jeez.
Oh wow. Do you just cycle another one?
I think you
You don't have a choice. Like.
Hero Power Pass. Like,
This just seems really bad.
yeah.
I don't really see like any way.
To come back, yeah. Once this Paladin deck loses initiative, it's almost impossible to catch back up. The hero power is mostly useless. You know, it's good at snowballing a lead that you already have, but you know, it's not going to catch you back up. Jeez. I'm not too proud to sap a 1/1.
You don't have to do it.
So now we've seen the one Divine Favor. Are we gonna see Hyped perhaps play out or conserve his cards slightly more and not fear the second one so much?
It's an interesting balance, right? Because when he plays the SI, he's more vulnerable to Quality Consecrate, but when he's less vulnerable to Divine Favor. So in this case, Divine Favor is what Sten had, so it worked out better for him this way for sure. All right.
I think there is no way for Sten to come back from this. He used double Divine Favor, so he will be drawing only 1 card a turn.
Mm-hmm. This game has definitely been over for a while, it seems like. Just going through the motions.
So, what do we think Sten's going to pick for his next deck? So he's got Warlock, Priest, and Druid left to him.
Warlock, Priest, and Druid. I would pick Warlock, I believe. Like, we don't know if it's Zoo or a Handlock. If it's a Handlock, it should be okay versus Miracle Rogue.
I think I would pick Druid. It's generally the best, or one of its best matchups, I think, is Miracle Rogue in general. And depending on how aggressive it is, if you have Wild Growth, it's a lot easier. To be fair, Violet Teacher is a really strong card against Druid. It gets on the board before Druid's creatures do sometimes. And if that ever happens, it just snowballs. But yeah, Druid's the minions are just so tough to deal with for Rogue. And if you innervate Spectral Knight, you can't lose. A lot of ways it can go in Druid's favor.
going to take his handlock.
All right. So it is handlock. Very, very strong against Miracle Rogue as well. In this matchup, what you're looking for is your Mountain Giants and Twilight Drakes. Now, I actually think going first is better in this matchup.
For whoever is going first.
Well, yeah, for both players, because right, if it's better for one deck to go first, then it's also better for the other deck to not have your opponent go first.
Yeah.
So,
I like having coin in this matchup.
Yeah,
But I
I
mostly like having coin. Like Miracle Rogue loves coin, and handlock, it depends. Like a lot of handlock players, they say like they don't like the coin. They want to go first because the hand gets clunky. If you get,
Wow.
what? Come on.
This is not right. You need to keep the giant, put the other 3 back.
Yes.
Yes. Like you're definitely looking for Twilight Drakes and Mountain Giants.
So why would you even keep Iron Beak? Like,
You know, most games are won or lost in the mulligan phase, and this is where inexperience with a class really shows. Now, I've played Hearthstone before. I'm assuming his next 3 draws are going to be Giant, Twilight Drake. But
if not, he might be in trouble.
in a just world, that wouldn't happen. This is unfortunately Earth for hyped, so I'm expecting Mountain Giant off the top right off the bat here. But we'll see. It's an interesting strategy. Maybe his plan is to just take a beating and double Giant, you know.
And then win from there.
Yeah. I guess it makes some sense, right? If they don't have Blade Flurry, you taunt up a couple Molten Giants and...
So
Okay.
playing very, very aggressively here.
Well, he certainly has a different playstyle.
Yeah. With double Molten Giant, coin life tap is even more tempting, but he still just wants to get Sun Fury down as quickly as possible. That's interesting. So now Hyped has the option to backstab Hero Power that, or maybe wait and Deadly Poison. I think I like backstab Hero Power. You just get to play SI next turn.
Yeah, and because there's not a threat of a Mountain Giant anymore coming down on
Or,
turn 4.
it's better to not attack, because you might as well backstab SI next turn if you're going to play SI next turn anyway. That way you're just up a weapon charge.
Exactly.
Either way, you take exactly 2.
That's fine still.
There we go. Hearthstone at its finest. 2 to the face and a pass back.
But now that he's used the coin and another card from his hand, he's not going to be able to play that Giant on turn 4, so that means his next draw is probably going to be a Twilight Drake.
That giant on turn 4 will be so strong.
He can still play Giant turn 4, I'm pretty sure. You life tap twice. If you coin a dude turn 1 and tap, you can still play Giant turn 4. So, Blood Mage is actually one of Rogue's best cards against Handlock. It lets you kill Giants with just a backstab Eviscerate. It's just a card that they have a hard time dealing with because they're not going to be keeping Mortal Coil in their opening hand, so it's unlikely that they have it. And it just gives you it makes it much easier for you to actually deal with their threats. And that's how Rogue wins. If Warlock only draws one big threat, one Giant or one Twilight Drake, Rogue can deal with the first one, and from there gain board control and win. But if Handlock draws like multiple big creatures, then Rogue just doesn't have the removal to deal with them.
What do you think about Hype's hand right now with double Vela Teacher?
Absolutely terrible. The hand you want against Handlock is like Gadgets in, all the preps. And that's the way you win. This isn't great, though. He's just playing it out. He doesn't even want to play the turn 4 Giant. Interesting. He even had the Soulfire, so he could have gone Giant Soulfire on the minion next turn. I've never seen somebody play Handlock like this.
This is a style that we are definitely not used to.
I'm not saying it's wrong, but it's wrong.
He kept 2 Molten Giants. He's tapped once, and then he healed his face.
He's just waiting for the burst.
This matchup is so good for Handlock, too. He still might lose. Or Hype might still lose. Okay, you still play Giant next turn.
I'm so confused right now. But I've seen interesting Handlock plays before. Like...
That is certainly a word for them.
Interesting. That's a very good one. I've seen a Handlock versus Handlock where one Handlock plays Iron Beak, vanilla Iron Beak on turn 2. And the other is firing
I saw that game.
That was Tom 6-0 to the 9 versus Frozen Ice, the Taiwan
Yeah.
qualifier
Oh
final.
my god. I saw that game.
That was a very interesting.
I was wondering if they were trolling, right? Like
they might have been trolling.
They were already in the finals, right? Or
They were in the
like
finals, so they split the money. There's no way. There's no reason to be like very serious about the games.
Yeah. Well,
I think Handlock is one of the most difficult decks in Hearthstone to play well though, because you draw so many cards, you have so many options. The more options you have, the easier it is to make the wrong play.
I think Rogue, Miracle Rogue is a bit more difficult there. But there also is like similar idea with like so many cards, and also just using your resources correctly because you have a limited amount of damage that you have to use.
I feel like Handlock, I agree with you though that Handlock is the hardest between the two because if you make a mistake with Miracle Rogue, you know, sometimes you still drew 2 preps and gadgets in. It doesn't really matter if you make a slightly inefficient play. Whereas with Handlock, if you make a misplay, you just lose a lot of the time on the spot because you're making one big play per turn, and if that play is incorrect, it just snowballs out of your control so quickly.
By the way, a second Mountain Giant is joining the fold. So Reynat, you predicted it correctly.
I'm done trying to guess what he's going to do. I think he's going to life tap and Soulfire Hyped in the face twice. That's my guess. You could copy the Azure Drake and Soulfire both minions.
Well, to be honest, if you life tap and then the Warlock attacks you with those minions, you're getting closer to the Molten Giants you kept.
Exactly. Which was the plan from turn 1.
This is pretty much a standard play. And losing that Siphon Soul is not bad. Faceless is fine. Keeping the Giants is great.
Ooh, Cold Blood's going to make it a lot easier to clear out the Giant, but he's going to lose his minion in the process. Because of that Soulfire, though, I don't think Sten can play like a Mountain Giant the following turn. So if he can clear this Giant, he should have a turn of reprieve. Assuming, you know, something like Sludge Belcher isn't drawn. This matchup is just so lopsided in Handlock's favor normally, too. Like, you even have cards like Loatheb in your deck that's already so tough to interact with. If he ends up drawing some of those.
Wait, actually, it was... This Giant costed 5, and he lost 3 cards, Giant, Soulfire, and something. So then the new Giant is costing 8 right now. Yeah, so it'll be like 7 when he draws a card.
So is there an argument to be made here that for Hype to just push for damage with Violet Teacher, Cold Blood, Attack Face, and then Conceal, that would put the Warlock player down to 18 with 12 damage on the board?
I think you do kill the Giant. So like Violet Teacher, Cold Bloods. You can probably even attack, weapon attack, just take 8.
Yeah, I like this play. No reason to conceal. Might as well save it for
Gadgetsons.
Those Gadgetsons that are in the bottom 5 cards of the deck every game. Well, let's see. At least for me, they are.
I think you just tap.
Yep. No other option here, really. I mean, you could try copying Violet Teacher, but that just doesn't seem very strong. Okay.
And you do play Farseer.
Yeah, it's not bad. Gives you a play this turn, which is solid. Twilight Drake was probably the best draw, but this is still fine.
Are you surprised that he didn't get a Twilight Drake?
I don't know, man.
I mean, are we sure he's running Twilight Drake?
Nothing shocks me anymore in this game. Yeah, maybe he's playing Faceless instead.
We need to interview Stan and ask about the Molten Giants play. Because we are definitely not used to this style, but I will be curious if it works and what was his line of thought.
Yeah. Alright, yeah, Hype's just going in. I mean, his hand's terrible. Hype is still behind this game, I think.
He is behind.
This matchup, man. You need the gadgets in. Like, he does have the prep, and Blade Flurry is also a surprisingly great and important card against Handlock, but
oh wow, he needed exactly something for 2 mana to be able to Shadow Flame.
It gets rid of the 1/1s, but he gets to keep the Violet Teacher, so it's not the end of the world if that's the play he goes with. I still think Mountain Giant's better, especially considering that you have 2 Moltens in hand. So taking some damage
you're right.
isn't bad.
How much damage is there? Just 7 points of damage, so it's not terrible.
Yeah.
And there's 3 in the weapon, but there's no way the weapon comes face yet. So tap Mountain Giant, and then next turn there are 2 Molten Giants.
Oh, I guessed one. We guessed the right play, guys. All right. So Giants in play. Shiv is drawn.
Shiv is okay.
Could
But
be
you
worse.
have to think if you are going for face with the Shiv.
Yep, he's doing some math now with spell power.
And it's interesting because it's like a knee-jerk reaction. You want to kill the Giant, but maybe it's not the best later.
That may have been the worst card to possibly draw right there. The backstab.
Second preparation.
Alright, I think I like trading the Blood Mage here. Yep. Ooh. Well,
Oh man, do you do conceal the board again?
yeah. Have we seen Earthen Ring yet out of Hyped?
No, I don't believe.
So I think it is just Galento's deck or something very similar. We've seen double conceal, we've seen Cold Bloods, Violet Teachers, 2 Violet Teachers. So yeah, no Farseer, double Violet, double conceal.
So being hyped, how many Molten Giants do you expect? Because he is deciding now if he wants to attack and enable Moltens or not. You know your opponent kept, what, 2 cards? In
3
the
cards.
opening? 3 cards, up any head.
His hand was the nuts.
Heights must be sitting here thinking, being so confused at what those 3 cards are.
And they must be Molten Giant because
He decides to...
Because any other
yeah.
card must have been played.
exactly, yeah, the handlock's been playing so few things out. You know, it's not Sludge Belcher, it's not Loatheb,
No. Stan needs... He needed a Taunt Giver.
Is that better or worse than Shadow Flaming right now? So you could Shadow Flame the Molten. That's probably just the best play.
Yeah, that completely clears the board.
But are you that concerned about this Violet Teacher?
I am. When Hyped has 2 cards, I think it's the right play.
We've seen 1 Cold Blood so far,
Mm-hmm.
so
A weapon has only 1 attack, so it's 4. So like Hype would need to have 10 points of damage from his hand.
I think he's going to do it. He's going to tap even and go for the giant Shadow Flame. That's a huge draw. Stan is about to win this game, and I'm not even surprised. This matchup is just so lopsided.
So, if Hope draws Auctioneer here, there are certain draws that allow him to win this turn, right?
He got SA7.
That's not Auctioneer.
So he can play in a vanilla SA7, attack, refresh the weapon.
It's probably even better to hold it, because at this point, we're probably expecting a taunt next turn. Alright, he's going to go face.
Damage is important, but this is a really bad spot for Hype.
Yep. So exactly Auctioneer next turn into what? Sap, prep, sap. You need something that nets you cards, so probably like Fan of Knives. So you prep Fan of Knives,
Or
draw 2.
Prep, Evis, Deadly Poison Blade Flurry will do it.
He's already played 1 Flurry, though. I don't know if there's a second.
Is there a reason to tap? Or do you just play whatever and Soulfire the free?
Nah, you just play like, yeah, Sludge Belcher, Soulfire.
You can even play Lothab if you want to. If
Yeah.
you play Lothab, do you go for lethal somehow? It's like 8.
If he actually plays Sludge Belcher and doesn't Soulfire the minion, then that does threaten lethal. Like you still have some
Yeah.
defense.
Do you need to Soulfire here, though, in case... Because you haven't seen a Sap yet.
So it would be a sap, and then he's got 4 points of damage. So it would have to be a sap, and then 7 damage on top of that in 2 cards. I
Can
don't
you
know.
just Lothab, Molten Giant, pass?
I think you can play any combination of things in your hand, and it's impossible to lose at this point.
Okay, he's just going for the...
Unless he Soulfires himself in the face. Okay, he didn't. We're safe.
mistakes.
Oh, there is
Okay, so there is
Farseer.
Farseer.
All right. Hey, those Molten Giants are paying off. And, yeah, the double Violet Teacher, no Auctioneer draw did not pay off. But that is the risk with Miracle Rogue. Sometimes you just don't draw Auctioneer, you run out of cards, you lose. It's actually exactly how I went out of the tournament last Dreamhack Bucharest 6 months ago. I brought Miracle, drew 22 cards, and no Auctioneer.
Yeah, it happens. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
Shrafker is always telling me that the Miracle Rogue, and before Lothar mostly, like Miracle Rogue was an OP deck, and the thing like you lose when you don't draw Auctioneer is the cost of bringing the deck, which is basically OP.
Yep.
Because when you get Auctioneer, the deck is just too good.
Exactly.
But right now with Lothar is balanced.
A little bit, yeah.
It's kind of like how Undertaker's supposed to work. Like if you draw Undertaker on turn 7, it's supposed to be a 1/2, but if you draw Undertaker on turn 7, it's a 3/4. So
yeah. Oh,
so
that'll win the game.
if that.
Oh, it's lethal.
Do you preparation the Eviscerate? I guess not. So Stan is going to tie the series 1-1 versus Hyped. And now anything can happen. Hype's Rogue is eliminated. His Mage is banned. So both the most popular decks that he was using are out of the way. So now he has Warlock, Druid, and matches here at this tournament. Life Coach was able to just win versus all of the Hunter decks. But I still believe the Hunter is favored in this matchup.
I think Handlock's slightly favored, but it's close to 50-50. I've been saying on stream it's slightly favored too for the past like couple weeks. That's why it's like the only deck I play. Shaman and I play Handlock. That's all I play on ladder. But you have to be a specific version of Handlock, right? It has to be the one with 2 defenders. You have to have one of the 9-drop gain 15 creatures.
Any 6-drops? Are playing like Sylvanas?
Double Siphon is really important.
Double Siphon.
Basically, the more slow cards you play, the less favored you are. Like Sylvanas, Rag. Yeah, either one is good. You just need one in a lot of games. Now, the Undertaker is basically the best card against Handlock, actually, because a lot of times you can't afford to clear the board for quite a while. This is a pretty reasonable hand. Like, that Twilight Drake doesn't look flashy, but it's a huge pickup in this matchup.
Oh, yeah. He has, like, he has a way to deal with Undertaker. He has a follow-up of Farseer, and he has the Twilight Drake. So even if he plays Twilight Drake, which is like a 4/5, it's still a huge card.
Yeah. So what's going through Hype's mind right now is, do I want to play Direwolf on an empty board so that I can coin Houndmaster next turn? But he's not doing that because the Handlock would have 4 mana on that turn, and then it could Hellfire the entire board. This is why Mad Scientist is the better play. Here I would life tap, but he wants to just get a minion down. This is like the worst turn to play a minion because it walks into Eaglehorn Bow on curve if he has it.
And he's also not getting value from this Farseer because he's full health.
Exactly. I think it's really important to get value out of your Farseers and Siphon Souls in this match. And as you're saying, like Jiraxxus is so important in this matchup. On the coin, I would keep Jiraxxus in my opening hand against Hunter. Because you need to coin Jiraxxus on turn 8 to heal up from your 1 health that you're currently at.
Here's like Direwolf and coin Loot Hoarder probably, or another Mad Scientist, depends on.
Yeah, that's a tough call. Oh, he's not going to coin a 2-drop. Interesting. Wants to make Hellfire as weak as possible because he knows that a Mountain Giant can't get played this turn because of the lack of cards in the Handlock's hand. So,
but if you're not coining the 2-drop, like then Hellfire, or do you mean like he's going to play the Houndmaster on turn 4, and he expects possible Hellfire after that?
That's true. So if that's Freezing Trap, this isn't scary at all. This Drake's not going to do too much. I mean, he's going to get taunted up, but it's not an insurmountable amount of health. That Houndmaster alone can trade for it.
Is Hype playing Hunter's Mark?
That's a great question. I don't know. This Direwolf, he drew naturally, right? There's not off Web Spinner. You don't usually see that card, so something had to be cut for these things. Loot Hoarder, Unleash the Hounds. I'm a big fan of Direwolf with Unleash the Hounds. I think it's a lot better than Timberwolf, for example. Direwolf gives you some crazy early game trades that you wouldn't otherwise have. And if you put it on the right side of your board, it's still the same as Timberwolf because you can trade off the 2-power Unleash the Hounds token.
Yeah, but overall it's better. It's like a beefy minion.
I played a double Direwolf Hunter at the last Bucharest, actually. This is deja vu. The metagame comes full circle. I'm not a big fan of this play from Hyped. I think Houndmaster was better here. Assuming that's Freezing Trap. I'm not sure what that is, though.
I think it is Freezing Trap.
This is just, yeah, you coin here and you're just vulnerable to Shadow Flame. But I guess if you get Shadow Flame here, it's fine. It's a 2 for 2. You trade a Shadow Flame and a Twilight Drake for 2 cards because the Loot Hoarder replaces itself. And that's probably a fine exchange. if that even
Yeah, I'd
happens.
say it's fine as well. Do you spring the trap, or do you just farce your taunt up and wait for the hunter to...
He's just not going to life tap. He's going to taunt up. Wow.
Do you taunt the Farseer as well here?
Guess so.
Because,
Just going to trade for Loot Hoarder? Yeah.
yeah,
Or Bow. Jeez. I think Houndmaster's the play, but I don't know on what. On the 2-2, I guess.
Do Handmaster... Well, you can Handmaster Misha. Like, kill Farseer first with a Loot Hoarder to get the value and get the card, see what you get. Then put Handmaster on the left, buff Misha, kill the Drake. But then you're losing Misha to like to free.
well, because, well, then, if this is Freezing Trap, then the Sun Fury will get Freezing Trapped, so
Yeah, I think...
you'll keep your Mishra,
Yeah, you're right.
and you'll keep your Direwolf.
Is there any value in unleashing the hounds here? Just kill the 4/5 with a 5/4 Misha, then unleash. And
Well, unleash and then kill with the 5/4. So you get the extra dog.
oh yeah, you can also do. No, but you want to unleash and buff the dogs.
And trade, okay. I'll run those in. And I guess Scientist on the left. Alright. And Warlock's life finally starts getting whittled down to just 4 cards. No Sludge Belcher. This is not look great if you're the Warlock in this position. Oh! 1 turn, too late.
Double Shadow Flame, but he doesn't have the minions, so now he's going to start using Life Tap. He still has his Molten Giant and Jaraxxus, so that might be important. But for now, this game belongs to Hyped.
I like Houndmastering the Direwolf here, getting it to 4 health and out of Hellfire range. Then the question becomes, do you Hero Power or do you play Haunted Creeper? I think you play Haunted Creeper because it's resilient to AoE. You have to kind of be worried about a sweeper. That's one of the only ways to recover this board from the Warlock.
I agree. Like, even though I would love to use the Hero Power to just be able to abuse the power of it, Haunted Creeper will deal more damage over the course of 3 turns. And it prevents you from your board being cleared. Is he thinking about like Eagle Hornbow and Animal Companion as well?
He must be, but I definitely think the Houndmaster Haunted Creeper play is much stronger. It's much more resilient to AoE. We haven't seen a Hellfire. We know that Sten has a Shadow Flame in hand. Nothing to combo with it just yet.
Oh, cool play. Wants the Houndmaster to be the one getting buffed instead. I like Creeper here. Just better against Molten, yeah.
Yeah, certainly. Creeper is just better. Is he threatening Gleeful next turn?
Always. It's Hunter.
This is
Yeah.
14, 16
16.
with Animal Companion.
Well, Siphon on Direwolf and Prey. That is the play.
Siphon on Direwolf, and that's still 3, 4, 8, 10.
Warlock might win this game. You can clear the board the turn after and then play Jaraxxus on 9.
Oh my god, you're right. You're actually right. And Misha is bad in this situation.
Not what he wanted to see.
Leog or Haffer will be so good.
So he didn't get Shadow Flame last turn, so you probably... Like, do you play around Molten Giant or just go all in right here?
I think you go all in. There's one Jaraxxus in the Warlock deck, which is the only card you're afraid of at this point. He hasn't life tapped that much, so the chances of him actually having the Jaraxxus are pretty low. And then you've got the hero power to finish off him behind taunts, and you're at 30 life for the freezing trap. So
I think you definitely go all in, like, because if you play, like, you'll have to stop and just enter in right here. And if you do it, you're vulnerable to what, like Ancient Watcher Shadow Flame. Iron Beak Shadow Flame is also good.
He's definitely doing the math on Molten Giant Shadow Flame. The Warlock's going to have 8 mana next turn, so he wants to put him at exactly 15 if he's playing around it. Chooses not to, goes face. Solid play, but most of his board is going to be gone right here.
Sludge Belcher is a blank right now because this turn is Shadow Flame and Molten.
And we can see just how ineffective these like slow, expensive cards like Ragnaros are in this matchup. Great against things like Freeze Mage, but just not so good against Hunter. You basically never have time to play it. All right, so 2 spiders and a dream. I don't think that freezing trap is ever going to come up this game.
Do you life tap?
So Hype needs exactly 1 more damage. So he's 1 damage.
Oh,
off the
yes.
Easy high main.
It's high main from just loot hoarder.
Yep.
Yeah, the high main is actually winning this game.
It's not lethal, but it is going to be what wins in the game for sure.
Yeah.
He has to play Jiraxis. Or Mortal Co, one of the
Mortal Co
spiders,
Sludge.
plays Sludge Belcher.
Belch.
There's the risk of having a kill command and just dying to kill command is too great. But maybe...
But you die to kill command anyway if you play Jiraxis.
Yeah, so you might actually risk it. Play Mortal Coil, play Sludge Belcher.
I actually really like the Mortal Coil Sludge Belcher line. It also gives you more value from his Jiraxis because you'll get an extra heal. And it gives you 1 more turn to draw the second Molten Giant.
Oh, he's going for face. Let's do some damage.
He wants to. You know, he doesn't want to trigger a snake trap potentially. Lepernome's not bad. Direct damage. Good draw.
Yeah, 2 more damage that was needed. So whatever happens, he's dead to hero power or Lepernome. So what Hype needs right now is to top the kill command and kill command his own Lepernome. That's how you finish those games.
Yep, so there's that
All
Molten
right.
Giant.
Play Molten Giant with Jiraxis out. Mortal Coil Lepernome, the Dream. You can even hero power.
If you Mortal Coil first, you can play the
All right,
Molten
so
Giant for 2 less mana as well.
Stan is going to concede that game. Bad matchup for Handlock.
Yep. Hyped is going to pull out in the lead here. 2-1 now, I believe. Really?
Yeah, if you go with the priest and it's anti-aggro, I think priest is favored.
Yeah, I
Ooh.
think if you build Priest
Zombie
to
Chow.
beat Hunter, it should also beat Z.
That's a good point. So Zombie Chow, and he has coin, which is the most important thing in this matchup, is to get coin. So Hype should keep the Animal Companion, but he's just going to look for an Undertaker draw.
Double zombie chow.
Double
Perfect.
Zombie Chow into Loot Hoarder into
It's Dark Cultist.
Ooh. That's actually a fine hand. Normally you can't play Lepernome just because of a Northshire Cleric, turn 1. But in this case you have Snake Traps. I think it's actually fine.
And a juggler, just in case.
Yeah.
Interesting. So looking at those hands, who do you think is favored?
Priest. Double Zombie Chow Dark Cultist. This game's over. Like, you can't beat that with Hunter. No chance. Zombie Chow is one of the best cards in the game against Hunter because it almost guarantees that you get early game board control. And at that point, you have so many dead cards in Hunter because of that. Web Spinner, Lepernome, Undertaker never deal damage. You never snowball. You're always playing from behind, and at that point, you can't win with the deck. You got it.
Hyped is a bit disappointed about the double zombie chow. Doing calculations.
Yeah, we haven't actually seen the Death Rattle Priest, which is what I'm assuming this is, because it doesn't just have Zombie Chow, it also has Loot Hoarder.
yeah. So
Well, it had Ysera, so
Yeah,
I would say it's like a mix.
Some people play 1 Ysera, 1 Mind Control instead of the Thought Steals in the deck.
I personally really like that. I think you never want to be casting Thought Steal in the early game as the Undertaker Priest anyway, and the matchups that you want the Thought Steals are the long control matchups where you'll have time to play Ysera and Mind Control. So I really like that over Thought Steal. It's possible he's running Thought Steal as well.
That's just a lot of late game, definitely. All right, so Loot Hoarder comes down. Unleash the Hounds would actually be not too bad here. Doesn't have it. I guess you're just going to Eaglehorn Bow the Chow.
Yeah, just play the bow to be able to kill something this turn, next turn, and possibly just play minions after that. But it looks bad for Hype. Like he has no tempo, and the longer the game gets, the better for Priest. He has Web Spinner to be able to draw some beast out of it, But other than that, there is no draw. He will have to top deck into something.
If he gets a high main off the web spinner and then draws into a second high main and then draws into
Yeah,
his
third
third
high
high
main,
main,
yeah.
then he's in pretty good shape.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
We're not out of it yet.
I'm looking forward to that.
I'm calling it right now.
The casual triple high main draw. Well, Bo comes down as expected, and then the bad news doesn't end there for Hyped. Dark Cultist coming down.
Also, the perfect 4-drop. Okanai.
Yep, into the perfect 5-drop. Just a phenomenal drop from Sten, which just shows the strength of, you know, the more aggressive, early game oriented Priest deck against Hunter. And when you get coin, when you get those early game cards on time, it's just insurmountable.
And it's also very hard to come back being a hunter. You will need to have Unleash the Hounds and something to be able to trade in those minions.
I expect Sten to play around Snake Trap here. There's no reason to give him the extra charge. If it's Freezing Trap, you might as well attack face anyway. So I don't feel like not attacking is the right play. So
I think you do attack face.
yeah.
Yeah. So now he knows it's.
Now he knows for sure that it's a snake trap. And just develop the board. Extend your advantage.
All right, so Hunter's on defense here.
He picks a Houndmaster.
That's a great draw, actually. That's going to force the Snake Trap, which is going to get him a second bow charge.
Just Houndmaster go face.
I think I would kill the Loot Hoarder.
Well, if you kill the loot hoarder, then your web spinner will die to the hero power. So
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, yeah.
you
Go
can't
face
really
is
do
way
that.
better. Well, either way, it dies to the hero power, but I guess you want the 3 damage.
Yeah, and if it'll die to the hero.
Or no,
power
no, no,
plus
yeah,
an
yeah,
attack,
plus the
so
snake. Yeah, yeah.
the snake trap.
The
won't
snake trap
go
is
off.
so, yeah.
I'm getting a little
left.
tired. Yeah, you're definitely right. Face is way better.
Also, it's unlucky that he got a snake trap where he already had a snake trap in hand.
He drew both snake traps, right? There was no mad.
Wait, there was no
scientist.
web.
There was no mad scientist this game.
Oh, okay.
He played
Ooh.
the snake trap.
Yeah, that's definitely weird. He's going for the Reyna play. The first one.
Don't call it that. Ouch.
You called it first.
I did. That doesn't mean it was right.
Yeah, it was like, it seemed like a logical play. It might pay off. And also there is Circle of Healing, so you actually can attack into this.
Oh my god, I'm a genius, Nimsh.
You know how to play this game. That was a good call. Well, he got Circle of Healing, so he will be able to clear anyway.
And with the powered shield and the Dark Cultist Death Rattle.
Yeah, just protect your Okanai.
Yeah, it puts it out of range of the bow.
Definitely a good draw. I would have liked him to see him start with the powered shield, but it, you know, it
Lothab
wouldn't have
is
changed his
better.
play. Okay, yeah, okay, that's
Yeah.
fair. It's already at 4 health. You don't need to get it out of range of bow. Yeah, Lothab's definitely better.
So is this a high main?
Oh, it is a highway. You called it. And he got a Kodo. A Kodo doesn't change that much from the web spinner, but turn 6 high main is always good. There is a Shadow or Death, if I remember correctly.
Yes, there is.
I like saving the weapon here. Yep.
And why do you save it exactly?
No reason to attack face. You're not going to draw a second one. You're probably not getting Harrisoned. Like, better to just
Keep it to trade with
Yeah, to kill a
minions
minion,
and stuff,
yeah.
for the board control.
because you can still get that 3 damage out of it later if you want to go face later.
Yeah, it's the game's not going to end in 2 turns. At least not in the favour of the hunter. So definitely holding onto the bow is the right play here.
Oh, wow. I mean, he's not going to use Shadow Madness this turn, but still.
Yeah, this game is over at this point. Hunter's just locked out.
Yeah, if Priest is able to deal with the high main this easily.
Double Zombie Chow Priest with Shadow Madness. Absolutely the most anti-Hunter deck I think we've seen so far in this tournament. You know, we've seen some Priests, but the more classic style with the Wild Pyromancers, the Thought Steals, you know, that doesn't do so great against Hunter. But yeah, this list
It's
Yeah.
really paying off for Stan. He's bringing this list, and he got the aggro paladin. So definitely a player who's not afraid to bring his own brews to the tournament. And
Definitely.
it's like, it's not the first round. This guy just plowed through all the groups. Like he went out of 4 groups GSL format. Right now playing in the top 8 versus one of the best players in the world, and with his own creations.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And also has his unique style.
Yeah. So it'll, assuming the Priest wins this game, like I think it will, it'll be interesting to see, which version of Warlock Hype brought. I don't think we've seen it yet. If it is,
I think we heard it's Zoo. Somebody
Ooh.
mentioned it's a Zoo.
Okay, so for Hype, that's actually worse than if it was Handlock, because Handlock pretty much can't lose to the Zombie Chow Priest deck. Whereas Zoo is going to have a much harder time against this. So that leaves him with what, Druid?
Yeah.
I actually would like to see Druid if it is a Zoo deck.
Oh yeah, if it's a Zoo, you definitely go with Druid. Like I think Zoo against this version, like I would normally say that Zoo is disadvantaged versus Priest, but against this version, it's heavily disadvantaged.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And Druid is a contender. You have a lot of 4-attack minions. If you have a good start, you can actually win versus Priest. I think it's like 50-50 actually, Druid versus Priest.
It's all about early board control essentially, because this Priest deck, more than other Priest decks, sort of relies on the hero power to maintain board control. Because when you don't have minions, you're forced to hero power your face, and 2 health on you is so much worse than 2 health on a minion. So it's definitely about early board control, getting minions down.
All right, guys, we are talking about the possible pick because this game is over.
Just going through the motions at this point. There we
Hype
go.
is going to concede. So Stan is going to tie the series 2-2, and Hype has to decide if he's going with his Warlock deck or Druid. If it's a Zoo, he will pick the Druid. If it's a Handlock, he'll pick.
3-2, so he kind of plays it like checkers, right? I'll get the lead with this deck, I'll trade it for, I'll get the loss from the counter, then I'll counter with this deck. So, whereas opposed to a player like Gara or like Life Coach, where we see a lot of XO sweeps,
Yeah.
pretty often. So it is Watcher Druid. We haven't seen it in a long time. Hype just telling me a bit about this deck. So, of course,
Wow.
the 4-power cards strong against Priest in general. But mostly this type of Druid, according to Hype, is a good matchup against Hunter, or a better matchup than most Druids. So.
Is this a traditional Watcher Druid, or is he playing like Wailing Souls?
He's got some new next cards, it looks like. Spectral Knight.
Okay, this is a lot of 4-attack minions.
It is, yeah. Let's see if he draws the Innervate, because without it, hand's a bit slow. At least a Sun Fury or a Defender or a Keeper. He's got a lot of good draws here.
Yeah.
Stan's hand is not that great. I mean, Undertaker.
No,
Oh,
it
okay.
is.
It improved
Okay.
immensely now. All right. That was a pretty good hand.
I think it's the only 2-drop Death Rattle in the deck. All right. Oh, Hype's hand improved immensely as well. Question is, do you Keeper next turn? Do you swipe? Probably the swipe. Although Keeper is tempting.
Keeper is definitely tempting. To be able to just kill Undertaker easily and develop a 4-2 and a 2-4.
There's no way you kill the Watcher here.
Yeah, the problem with keeping your Watcher and then killing the Undertaker means it's gonna then trade with the Loot Hoarder.
Yeah, that's
so I think
painful.
Swipe's probably the stronger play here. And then you can play Keeper.
The turn after.
Yeah.
And start
And
slowly
it
winning
fits
the
the
board.
curve as well because you're coining the swipe. So you're not being mana inefficient.
Oh, he gets the Sunfury Predictor, which is a pretty good card. On turn 4, he will be able to play another Watcher and taunt them both up.
I think we're going to see the Keeper turn 4.
Yeah.
And just start raiding. Yeah, that's also very good.
The Sun Fury is probably not what you want to see, honestly. It'll get Cabal Shadow Priested most likely at any point that it comes down later in the game. But that's fine. He's got some other 5-drops. He'll play Spectral Knight into Azure Drake or vice versa, draw Ancient Allure probably. I don't think we're going to see Sun Fury being played for a while, but...
Well, is he thinking about Ancient Watcher Sun Fury now? Because he coined and then he stopped to think about the swipe.
Well, you have to think about all the possibilities. He had a couple of good plays there.
Yeah, might as well consider it.
But I think he gave away information he didn't need to give away by coining first, because it tells Stein that he has another 4 mana play that he could have made.
Definitely. All right, pick up the card. There's that mind control we expected after seeing Ysera. So now I think, yeah, just Keeper of the Grove on Watcher, killing the Northshire is most likely to play.
Hype's hand is so nice right now. He was able to go for the early turns, and now he's getting to the turns where he's just playing all those really scary minions, like Spectral Knight against the Priest. How is going to Priest even interact with that card? The only thing is like, can I Soul Priest, Circle of Healing?
Yeah, maybe if he taunts it up and he gets Black Knighted, but that's not very likely.
So something I'd just like to highlight quickly is that we actually see a Wild Pyromancer in this Priest deck. So he's running
everything.
Undertakers and Wild Pyromancers. I'm really interested to see what cards he's not running.
Yeah.
This is a 30 card, like a 40 card Priest. He's the marriage of control and Defraudal aggro.
He really doesn't like Hunter.
Because the thing when I was building my Priest deck was there are so many cards you just want to put in Priest, and you just have to make cuts somewhere. I end up cutting a Shadow Word Death and a Thought Steal. We haven't seen Thought Steals yet, so it's quite possible.
Cut Thought Steal.
I expect no Holy Nova.
No Holy Nova. Do you need Cabal Shadow Priest? Probably not.
You need one. We saw one. I think he's probably not playing the 2. He's going to go with this play. It's the only way to kill the Keeper here. I mean, it's a reasonable play. I guess you heal the Pyro. Maybe just play Loot Hoarder.
You can play the Loot Hoarder.
Yeah, you've already seen one swipe, so you're not too worried about a second one.
So the thing about Watcher Druid is that it kind of clogs up the board with minions, so Sylvanas is often just one of the best cards ever against it. We'll see if he does end up just dropping it. But yeah, if you don't have one of your Keeper of the Groves for it, Sylvanas is just phenomenal against Watcher Druid. And
one Keeper was already used.
Yeah, that's something we used to see when there were a lot of these Watcher Druid mirrors, and both were playing Sylvanas.
It was all like about Sylvanas and Thinkmaster over Spark. You really wanted to like silence the Sylvanas with Thinkmaster. Then good old times.
Well, I think I like Hero Power on the Pyro, and then attack the Loot Hoarder, and then just Watcher.
Yeah, just second Watcher, because you can always taunt it up. But then again, as you mentioned, Cabal Shadow Priest is a possibility.
It's true. Well, you're not Sun Fearing this turn. You're Hero Power Watchering.
Yeah. You can Sun Fury like maybe on turn 7.
It's a lot of 5-drops though. He really wants to play one, but I just don't think it's right here. Like the Hero Power is too good. He can play the attrition game against this deck. Like the Ysera will be a problem, but aside from that, I think you're comfortable going long game.
This is also one of the matchups where Force of Nature Savage Roar combo is often used to clear the board because it's more about board control than finishing them off. As we can see, like the Priest is still very high life total. There's very little life total pressure, and we have the Savage Roar, so that is a potential way of dealing with the Ysera that will come down later on. And there aren't a huge number of big targets for mind control in this deck. So
it's going to be a great turn for the Priest here. Being able to trade off Dark Cultist and still get just that health buff, it's so important here.
Oh wow, you don't play the Sylvanas here? Or do you?
You can, it's fine. I mean,
you will get the health buff, so you can probably do it.
Like I wouldn't, but like I think Blade Master is a little better. But this is fine too.
I was thinking about Blade Master as well, because you force your opponent to use something to get 1 more damage on the Blade Master. But a 5/8 Sylvanas is pretty good.
Yeah, if you play Blade Master, you could heal it, so it'd be at 8 health as well.
True.
This is more mana efficient, but yeah, I think Sylvanas is a lot better when you're a bit more behind on board. Maybe he's afraid of, Force of Nature combo, doesn't want to wait until the Druid has a bunch of creatures, though. So, production guys, big fan of
production
Sten,
guys, yeah. I think Savage or... Oh, he is running
playing
Wailing
Soul.
Soul.
Yep. Yeah, his Freeze Mage matchup should be pretty good.
Wailing Souls. Oh my god, this is so crazy. It's like, Hyped is playing top 8, down to his last deck, a last chance, and he ends up with an Ancient Watcher Wailing Souls Druid. Is this the birth of the hyped Druid?
Oh no! You have to Savage Roar here
Yeah.
and trade. You have to.
You just can't afford to give Priest a creature with
Yeah.
the Sylvanas.
Savage Roar, kill it, play Ancient Watcher, pass.
Like it's a 5/8 minion. It's going to kill something every turn and get healed every turn. I don't think he sees it.
He might not see the Savage Roar.
Oh no. Yeah.
I think.
Oh, he's doing
he's
it.
got it. There we go.
Please attack. All right. And play your dude. There we go.
Okay, you got it. That was the best.
Rope just gives me a heart attack every time. There.
Stuff. Because of the animations, like you would normally click through the stuff, but sometimes the animation's longer.
Sludge Belcher. Sludge Belcher, the death on that is the worst one.
Yeah, the slowest. That and Leper Gnome. I'm gonna make the Leper Gnome, Sludge Belcher, Harvest Golem, Nazdormu deck one day. Crush people.
I actually think Nozdormu is much more powerful than people give it credit for.
Man up and play it then, man.
I'm
Put
trying
your money
to
where your mouth is.
I'm trying to fit it in somewhere. I mean, I have a spot in my heart for bad legendary cards.
Oh wow, Innervate is so powerful because he can play both Wailing Soul and a 5-drop.
I don't think he wants to though. I think he'd just rather hero power to deal with that Blade Master before it gets out of hand.
Just kill a Blade Master.
That card really will get out of hand otherwise.
Yeah, it's big enough that it'll kill your RUZ3, it'll kill your Sun Fury.
Then you play Wailing Soul, Hero Power, and just kill the 4/5. This game is awkward.
This game is just super interesting.
Yeah, because we've got two decks that are not ordinary decks.
Yeah.
Like we haven't. Watcher Druid is a deck that has not been a meta deck for a very long time. And then there's this Priest deck that has everything in it. So
Stan needs something for this turn. He has Mind Control and Sarah for turn 9-10, which will be huge. Especially after one Keeper of the Grove being used. Oh,
Jeez.
wow. Okay.
That's the best draw.
That's a card.
I think Ysera's going to run away with this game. That is just one of the best cards in the game against Druid. And, you know, he's at 30 life. He's going to have plenty of time to just get all the value in the world off of it. The one Cabal. I'm pretty sure it's one Cabal. It has to be.
is it a better draw than Arcanine Soul Priest there? Because Arcanine Soul Priest here is a 10-point life swing. Because it denies the 5 heal from your
I think
Zombie
Cabal was
Chow.
pretty strong. It's like a 4/5. You just kill it to free and then spawn it to free. So basically, for 6 mana, you get a 6/8 on board and kill it to free. I think that was just a huge card.
Well, we got Black Knight. Man, keep making some painful hero powers, I guess. I'm going to kill Zombie Chow off anyway. All right, and this is where hypes, hopes, and dreams are going to get
Tides is actually
crushed.
down to 14. That's how did that happen?
Tides?
No, not Tides. Like hype. Oh my god.
Well, let's see. Ysera.
There's no other play.
Yeah.
Are we going to see Ysera's Awakens? That's probably the best one right now, right?
Now, it's very hard for Priest to lose at this point. Zombie Chow is the worst possible draw. You got to just play hyper aggressively from this point on.
Yeah, you just have to start going for face. But then again, you use one Savage Roar,
Yeah.
and you use one swipe.
I wonder if it even plays 2 copies of combo.
He might not be.
I think Wailing Soul into Sun Fury, Spectral Knight, and Zombie Chow, and maybe, you probably Sun Fury, but just don't give anything taunt. Or no, I would Sun Fury just the Spectral Knight. Just so it can eat 2 Ysera attacks, maybe.
You try to
Well, I
put
don't
Sun Fury on the other part of the board. Taunt is Sarah and then Black
Yeah.
Knight.
I don't like taunting Azure Drake here.
Yeah, it's just going to die to the Ysera. And
Oh, there
okay, so
are
there are
2.
2.
Do you mind control something?
Well,
Not really a good target there. I think you play Cabal still.
Yeah, you Cabal and Emerald.
Yeah,
Drake.
that's such a powerful play. I kill the 4/4.
Yeah, that puts you just so far ahead on board, and Hyped has one card in hand now, so it's looking pretty grim for him.
Mm-hmm.
So before this match started, did you expect that we'll end up with a Wailing Souls Watcher Druid?
Yeah, Hype told me about it.
Okay.
But I don't think most people did. Before the tournament, before Hype told me, I probably wouldn't have expected it for sure. It's interesting list.
It definitely wasn't a deck I took into consideration when building my decks for the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying it as well. Like I like those wacky things.
It's really good in tournaments because people they prepare for specific decks. Like people will prepare for Hunter, they'll prepare for Handlock, they'll prepare for like Ramp Druid or Token Druid. But if you're playing something that literally no one else is playing, people can't afford to dedicate deck slots to beat your one specific.
Oh wow, he gets
deck.
what he needed. This is so over now.
Yeah, I mean it was just over turn 9. Well, that's a card.
Yeah, that might be one of the best cards he could get.
Yeah, it denies the Ysera's Awakens into lethal.
But do you start trading now somehow? Is there a good way to trade? What do you prioritize in killing?
Oh, there's not a great way to do anything on this board for the Druid. I mean, clearly you play Sylvanas, but at that point, I don't think you can just go face with everything. You have to at least run Wailing Soul into the Sun Fury, I think.
Do you also kill Cabal, maybe?
Yeah, you could kill Cabal, you could kill Sun Fury with the Zombie Chow and a Hero Power. There's a lot of options.
Every turn the Ysera just lives, it's just another nail in the coffin, essentially.
Well, you can kill Ysera as well, and actually your Spectral Knight will survive. It's like Hero Power.
I guess the way to come back in this game is to steal Ysera with the Sylvanas, and then
draw a couple of good cards.
Yeah, and come back that way.
That is what he's going for. All right. Now, is Ysera's Awakening lethal?
So we need to see what's happening there.
It's
not on its own. It's still over. You just steal the Sylvanas, win the game. Yep.
Yeah, just mind control Sylvanas, and that's it.
All right. Well,
kill the 4/2, attack with 7.
Sten will advance 3-2 over Hyped in a huge upset. Very well played. Saw a lot of unique, unexpected decks this match. Tough to prepare for either of these decks. I think I didn't really expect either of them.
So I think what's quite interesting actually is he is the only person to make it all the way through the open bracket into the semi-finals.
Mm-hmm.
And of the open bracket players, there were only 2 who made it to the quarterfinals. So it's really interesting to look at. He's gone through this open bracket. He's gone through some very good invites. He's gone through Hypes, one of the
and he brought
top players in the world.
And he is a player from Belgium. And the last tournament I was casting, the 500 Swiss tournament, with 7 rounds of Swiss and then 4 or 5 rounds of single elimination, a guy from Belgium won it, Maverick. And right now we have another guy from Belgium just doing it again. I mean, he is in top 4. He with those decks, with those lineups, he has a good chance. I mean, I just want to ask the guy a couple of questions. I want to ask about the Molten Giants and what was happening, his deck lineups.
Yeah, I'll get him in here for an interview.
Yeah, let's get him.
Yeah.
And then we can talk to Hype as well.
Yeah.
So Max, thank you so much for joining us.
All right, thanks for being
this
here.
match. And yeah,
over.
let's talk to Stan. Oh man, congratulations on the
Thanks.
win. 3-2, pretty tough.
Well played. A lot of close games.
Yeah, it was sweaty.
What did you? What were you thinking about the match going into it before it started?
Yeah, of course I felt bad about the first game because it was a bad matchup and I lost it. But then the last game, the double zombie chow, it was of course a big deal.
So before we go to the other games, like when we talked about the matchups before you started, we said he will never play Paladin because we assumed it's a control version. Yeah. And then you open and we see Noble Sacrifice as the first card.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, okay, we have to rethink everything we said. So why aggro Paladin and how did you do in the group stages? Because I heard you were just crashing everyone.
Yeah, in the group stages it performed much better than it did today, but it's really good against Warrior, and there are a lot of Warrior decks at the moment because yeah, it's a tempo meta at the moment. So a lot of people try to play Warrior. It's stable. It's a good opener, and yeah, it's a good counter.
So basically, did you create the deck yourself, or did you like see it somewhere, the aggro Paladin?
That deck I created myself.
Is it even aggro? Because like we've seen Peacekeepers being played.
Yeah, so it's got some mid-range elements.
The point of the deck is actually to be very sticky, even more sticky than you are with the spider links and with the eggs, because you have Avenge and it. Well, if someone wants to clear your board with AoE, it's even harder because there are secrets, he doesn't know what they are, and yeah, it's really confusing to play against. Once you develop a board, it's a really good deck.
I love the idea. It's like something totally new. I mean, we've seen aggro Paladins before, but they died out, and then you bring this deck, you go for the group stage with it, and you have it in your lineup. So I'm really impressed. But then you had a bad matchup versus Hyped that first game. You lost it, and you're taking Handlock. And what we say is he has to keep the Mountain Giant and mulligan everything else away. And you mulligan Mountain Giant and keep everything else, which was Molten Giant. So what were you thinking when you kept like Molten Giants? What was the matchup? Handlock versus
Rogue.
Rogue.
Yeah. Well, he was playing a token version of Rogue, and they have a lot less burst than the normal Rogue. So I thought, he can't finish me in one turn. So if I keep the Molten Giants together with the Shadow Flame, that turn I should have drawn one. I can clear and develop a new board and come back. I didn't keep the Mountain Giant because it's token deck, so I need to play my cards early or I'll lose. So yeah, I kept the Molten Giants and not the Mountain Giants. It was a tough choice though.
That makes a lot more sense once you explain it that way. I can see those being really good.
Yeah, I mean, like you're just thinking about just playing cards, so Mountain Giant was not that good, and then waiting your way through when he just deals some damage to you, not fearing whatever will happen. And yeah, that worked well. I mean, you had an advantage anyway with the matchup, but that strategy worked for you as well.
Yeah.
And then what was the next match?
The
Hunter, I believe.
Yeah, it was Hunter versus Priest.
Oh, the Priest deck.
Yeah.
So tell us about the Priest deck. It seemed like you're running like a 40 card Priest with like both aggro elements and control elements. Like
Yeah, it's basically a Kibler deck. There are just some changes to make it more control-y, to get it work better against hunters, against zoos, to have some more control on the board. But mainly it's Kibler. So I didn't make it. I didn't really invent it myself. It was actually also a teammate who made the changes, and I liked the deck. It was one of the new decks. I had 3 decks in the group stages, and I liked it. It complemented well, so I added it.
Do you like your aggro matchups? Like, if you go with this Priest, are you fine playing against Hunter and against Zoo? Do you feel you have an advantage
With the Priest?
Yeah, with this particular Priest.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's good against aggro decks. Certainly, if you have your low drops like I did with the 2 shows in the last.
Oh yeah, the Hunter game was just.
Yeah, it's
such favor on your side. It's insane.
Well, hey man, congratulations you on being the first player from the open bracket to make it through the semifinals. The only player to make it through. Are you confident going forward in this tournament, like for the rest of the matches?
Well, to be honest, it's my first international tournament, so it's hard to say. but of course I'm gonna try, and I hope it'll work out, and the decks will perform as they did today and in the group stages.
Cool.
All right. And one more question for me. Right now, can we say that you are the best player from Belgium, or?
Well, it's hard to say who's the best because I didn't play everyone, but I think in international tournaments, yes.
Maverick just won the Paris tournament.
The Paris LAN, and it was like a bracket 512 people, I believe. It's really insane. It's a lot bigger than it's here. Yeah, that's impressive. I actually never met him, never played him, so maybe we should duel.
Oh yeah, he was like the best in Belgium. That would be a pretty cool match to
Yeah.
see.
It's actually a really familiar name. I think we played on ladder a lot. We play at the same time. Well, yeah, he's a good player for sure.
All right.
Well, representing Belgium, congratulations, man. Keep it up. Unless you're playing against Gara. Are you playing against Gara?
I think so, yes.
All right. Well,
You can
Yeah,
become.
yeah,
You can become
luck,
a
but not
Temple
too
Storm
much luck.
Temple Storm Slayer. That would
Yeah.
be tough for Enya to see.
it's okay. Well, good luck, man. We'll see you. Let's get hyped on here and see.
Yeah.
Get his thoughts on the games. Hey, man.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, how do you feel?
Not so great. You know, I think I'd like to think a little unlucky with the Miracle Rogue draws there.
Yeah.
Just needed
No
just like
gadgets
one gadget
on.
would have been nice, but you know, what can you do?
Is that card important for that deck?
It's a little, it's kind of.
It's a good card to have, right?
Yeah.
Especially if you have like a couple of spells that
It
cost
played-
0.
Yeah, the deck plays a few of those. I saw that.
Yeah.
That was cool. I see the
Waiting
synergy.
Souls, Silence, like Watcher,
Oh,
Silence,
man.
Waiting Souls. Come on, give me, like why? And,
Every single. Well, we'll just. I'm going to talk about that priest game real quick.
sure.
I kept the double Ancient Watcher because every single way to activate them, except for the Keeper, activates both of them. Sun Fury, Argus, Wailing Soul, and of course I get the Keeper, and then Sylvanas comes down later. I don't have the Keeper. It was really rough.
Yeah. You had the Sun Fury too, but you like had to play the Keeper because of
Undertaker.
and the Dark Cultist being left in play. Like
Exactly.
I don't think he could have done much. It's mostly the Ysera. It seemed he had like the early game curve into the Ysera.
Yeah, it's interesting. He has like Zombie Chows, Pyromancer, Akanai Circle, and then also Ysera Mind Control. It's kind of
Yeah.
So can you tell me more about the matchups? I mean, you obviously know the deck, right? But what is it good against? What is it bad against?
compared to like a fast druid, it's a little weaker versus Handlock, Zoo. Or no, it's a little better versus Zoo. It's a little weaker against Handlock. It's a little weaker, just a tiny bit weaker against Warrior. But other than that, it has stronger matchups again. It's a really strong matchup against Hunter. It can beat Priest much easier than the other Druid versions. So that's why I picked it. And it's great versus Freeze Mage, of course, with Wailing Soul. And it's even better versus Miracle than most Druid versions.
Okay.
Were you playing Ancient Allure in there?
Yeah, there's Ancient Allures.
Okay, cool. Just curious.
Okay. Well, unfortunately, you're eliminated from this tournament, but this is the first time we have a chance to talk to you. So how are you enjoying the whole event here? Like you've been hanging out with guys, and tell me more.
Oh, how do you feel about Bucharest, man? You like the
It's
city?
really cool. We were in Old Town last night. Really cool. The hotel's really nice. And the people are really nice, except for the taxi driver that scammed everyone on the way over.
Well, the taxi driver scammed you?
Yeah, apparently all you have to do is, RDU told us all you have to do is refuse to pay them, but except my luggage in the back was worth much more than he was charging, so I went ahead and paid him first.
You
So I
got
didn't-
sharked like 4 times the rate, man.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Just yeah, that's brutal. Well, hey, at least I have a drinking buddy for tonight, so there's that, and hopefully the next one goes better, man. Not that this was a bad finish at all. Got out of groups into top 8.
All right, hopefully Gara can avenge me and retake first again.
Yeah, you don't have to face Gara now, so
That's
you
nice.
know Gara can just sweep everyone and win another Dreamhack.
I mean, I definitely would have beat Gara, so it's no question.
Okay, you're right.
Yeah.
Got it.
Well, hey guys, that's day 2 of Dreamhack Bucharest, the second, and presented to you by Nescafe.
It was an amazing day, and tomorrow we'll be back at 9 a.m. CET. It's 10 a.m. our time, but 9 a.m. CET. I had an amazing time. We had an amazing time overall, and I guess we can just go party now. So thank you so much for watching, for tuning in. Check out tomorrow. We'll be starting with a top 4 2 matches, everything will be on the stream, and then the final on the big stage. So thank you again from Reynat, Nimsh, Hyped. See you guys tomorrow.
any good. But yeah.
So, Reina, what do you think about Gara's Hunter not being banned? Like we discussed it before, Gara has a sick win percentage with Hunter, and he is going to start with Hunter as well.
Nobody's been banning it. I'm not entirely sure why. You know, it's been working out for him well at this point. So he's going to play Druid into a potential Hunter. It's a matchup where, you know, I think Hunter's heavily favored. Druid's just so bad at dealing with, like, early minions. You know, if you get a fast Undertaker draw, it's almost unstoppable.
Unless Druid keeps, like, 2 Innervates and 2 creatures, which can be casted on turn 1 and turn 2.
Exactly.
Like Druid has to be super aggressive, really super aggressive to be able to win this matchup. And this hand doesn't look that good, I'd say.
It sucks, brutal, to be honest. Like, the Ref is a safe card for Undertaker, but if he plays, if there would be like a Hunted Creeper on turn 1, it will be really bad for the Druid because there's no follow-up.
So we see a big game Hunter. This is just a standard fast Druid, or is this more of a ramp? Okay, there we go.
It's ramp. Yeah, but he plays he really likes the Defender of Argus. Like he plays it also in Paladin.
Yeah.
In his mid-rangey aggro-ish paladin deck.
That's a
Yeah.
great card. Oh, this draw is.
All right, so
Hunter.
we know Gara, but Reina, tell us about Gara. Who he is, why is he so good?
Gara is the world's most underrated pro. He finishes top 4 in almost every tournament he plays, and he's been doing that for the better part of a year. And yeah, you just consistently see him winning, consistently performing well, consistently playing well. And yeah, the guy honestly deserves more recognition than he gets, in my opinion. Just a fantastic player. He really had a breakout performance in last Dreamhack Bucharest, which he ended up winning. So, he's here trying to defend his title, and he's made it all the way through to the semifinals of, the second Dreamhack Bucharest. So this is definitely his tournament.
Also, recently he placed 3rd on the WCA tournament, being the only European player, and I'm like European American player.
Yeah, the
who
only
got
Westerner.
the big prize.
Yeah. That was like a $30,000 prize pool. That was a huge tournament, so very important win.
All right, and Lothar, can you give us some information about Stan? I mean, he is a player from Belgium that not many players recognize. This is his first big LAN tournament, international one. Have you watched some of his games? Like, do you know what he's running?
Well, I watched the game against Hyped at some point. I think it's hard to judge a new player based on one performance because, everyone can have a bad day. And he definitely made some really bad calls yesterday, but it turned out good for him because he did have some insane draws. But still, I don't want to evaluate him like just by watching one game. So I'm really looking forward to this match because we can see then his mindset, what are his deck's choices exactly, because he used Handlock against Hyped, the mid-range Paladin, right, and Control Priest. Well, it was
priest,
like a Death Rattle.
His priest is actually is different. It's like a Death Rattle.
Yeah, it's like the Kibler deck with. It has the Undertakers, the Zombie Childs, and then Ysera and a Mind Control instead of Thought Steals. But yeah, it's a player that, he's playing like a more aggressive Paladin deck. He is playing Undertaker Priest. This is a guy that is not afraid to play decks that are a little bit out of the metagame, which has been working out well for him so far. And I definitely like that.
Yeah, he is in the semifinal playing versus one of the best players in the world. And doing good. I mean, right now it seems like he lost the mind games for the first pick, and he is in a bad position. He's probably not getting out of this game alive, but he's doing his best, and one of the best Belgian players.
Black Knight would be so devastating if Gara plays one. But by the way, I want to talk about the tracking, because Gara is using tracking again, and that's a really good choice, I think, in current metagame, because the deck choices, like if you play Snake Traps, Mad Scientists, and Undertakers, which can be really dead draws at some point of the game, tracking just makes the value of your deck so much higher than the usual no tracking decks, because you can skip the bad draws. Like he just dig 7 Hymen, he wouldn't have it on turn 8 even, so it would be turn 9 Savannah, and now it's turn 6 Savannah. That's insane. Like having Savannah Hymen on curve in such matchups, it just makes the game so difficult for your opponent. So I really like the trackings in Gara's decks. I think they will be making a comeback right now after this tournament, after people will see that Gara is using them.
By the way, Reina, what's the play here? Spectral
Hymen.
Knight is just drop Hymen.
What else do you? Nothing else makes sense.
Spectral Knight is really tough to deal with for a hunter.
Yeah.
You can't target it, and
Yeah, it's a strong combo, and you can taunt it up. Definitely one of the strengths of Defender of Argus. If you have a deck with Spectral Knight in it, you just have that potential for a blowout play. One of the few, if only, minions in the game that's actually pretty resilient to Hunter's Mark. So I like his choice to suicide one scientist here. Gara, I believe, plays 2 Snake Traps, if I'm remembering the previous games
because
correctly.
he did see the second Snake Trap in his tracking, so he was almost sure he will get a freezing trap, but it turned out, well, it was the second Snake Trap.
Maybe he wanted the
Snake Trap?
The Snake Trap, yeah.
Yeah, I think he that was a better thing for him, because bouncing the Defender of Argus is not what you want to see when you're playing Hunter.
So these defenders clogging up the board.
Those defenders are doing a lot of work here. But
Yeah.
I see a potential chance for Stan to still win the game.
Well,
Yeah,
there's Unleash the Hounds with Hunter's Mark waiting.
it's definitely not over yet. I like using a Hunter's Mark here, I think, on the Defender Vargas. And just trying to deal with as much of the board as possible. I think you want to try to not trade your Savannah high main if possible. Just keep it alive as a 6/5. Can he get through everything without using the high main?
I don't think so. Like, let's see. He can Hunter's Mark Defender of Argus or Golem because it makes almost no difference in this situation. Then he can sacrifice. He has to kill the Spectral Knight to get some value out of sacrificing the Mad Scientist, because you want you have to kill the second not taunted Defender of Argus. So you want to kill the entire board.
So how good is Kill Command? You wouldn't Kill Command the Harvest Golem here, would you? You really want a hero power and play Haunted Creeper?
I think you want to, if you want to get some value out of the freezing trap, you will want to use the kill command to maintain here board position.
I think Haunted Creeper hero power is fine. It's just
Both plays are good. It's really up to him. All right.
also Druid is getting so low, and you have the skill command and hero power next.
Yeah,
turn.
but you already seen 2 Defender of Argus, and he won't probably play Sun Furies also.
So
if he drops a second like Spectral Knight.
So is there a way? Is there a way to not die this turn?
No, this game's over. But this really showcases the power of Hunter. I mean, the Druid looked like against any other deck, he would have stabilized there. He had 14 points of taunt, some of which was on Spectral Knight on the board, and Hunter got through it and did some damage on top of that very easily using only a couple cards.
Yeah, that's just insane.
So powerful to be able to have effects like Unleash the Hound's Hunter's Mark, just the flexibility to clear the board or go on the offensive when you're ahead.
Not to mention the freezing trap from Mad Scientist. It was a free trap, just shutting down the last minion on board.
All right, Sten's going to play Ancient of Lore to heal himself.
That doesn't do much, unfortunately, for him.
Yeah, because there is a kill command, but if there wasn't a kill command, he would live one more turn.
That also doesn't really matter, because Hunter's at 23 points of life. He has board control, and his hero power will just finish the droid off at some point. So even if Hunter will play safe, it just drags the game 1-2 more turns, and he's pretty much safe at this point of his life totals.
So knowing that this game is pretty much over, it looks like Gar is going to take it regardless of what's played or drawn this turn. What do you think is going to be picked by Sten in the next game to try and deal with this Hunter?
Well, his Paladin worked for him, and he told us that this is like a sticky Paladin, just having the minions. He's seen the Unleash the Hound, so that's a lot of information. But
it's got to be Priest, right?
It's
It's the Zombie Chows. He's playing Pyromancer in the Priest deck.
Yeah, and he won with against Hyped. The Priest versus Hunter matchup was pretty one-sided for Priest. So I think like you have to take Priest.
Yeah,
but then if Gara will lose with the Hunter, and that's not like 100% sure, I think Gara will counter the Priest with Warrior, because the amount of weapons just
really
tilt.
Well, that might work, yeah. I guess.
If you get the weapons and
removal for minions, Ysera's just going to 2-for-1 you. You can deal with it with an Execute or a Shield Slam pretty easily.
If Gara has a Gorhal, this will be so much easier for Warrior 2.
Oh, definitely, yes.
But I don't know his exact list, so my understanding of this matchup is based on the usual decks that I use, and I value weapons overall. It's maybe a bad spot in this metagame, because everyone is running
Look at the
some
start.
rampant things against weapons.
Stan is getting really good starts with his Priest deck.
Yeah, that's what it's built to do. A lot of early game, not as much late game as other Priest decks, but definitely just about the best thing you can be doing against these aggressive decks, like Hunter, like Zoo, to just get on the board early and then still have all the Priest plays to slow the game down after that.
I like how Gar opted not to play the Leper Gnome, to not get countered by a Northshire Cleric, or even a Zombie Chow.
You saw him also mulligan the Web Spinner because he knew he wouldn't play a 1-health minion turn 1 anyway. The important cards for the Hunter against Priest are Eaglehorn Bow and Animal Companion. He kept the Companion, I believe. That bow is going to be important.
Well, he doesn't have the bow. He has a
Oh,
knife
no,
juggler
no.
here.
Yeah,
so.
he mulliganed the companion. But drew another one.
Mm.
All right, juggler's going to get down, trade with one of these 1-drops.
Unless there's a... Oh, no, there's not Death Rattle.
So luckily for him, luckily for Gar, there's no 2-drop here. And Circle of Healing Injured Blade Master, while that's maybe one of the best things Priest can do against a deck like Druid, for example, it's actually not that good against Hunter because of cards like Freezing Trap, because of cards like Hunter's Mark. It's just so much less effective against a deck like Hunter.
Well, somehow Gara is able to deal with this board from Priest, but this is not the good thing you want to do. It's like you want to spawn the board with minions, deal as much damage as possible, and try to race the Priest. Oh my God, a second Injured Blade Master pickup.
Yeah, I think he's gonna go for the the double heal, or at least try to.
Oh yeah.
The risk in not healing here is, of course, it dies to like a bow or something. But your opponent doesn't have a bow.
Exactly.
He just kill commanded. So.
And seeing that a 1-mana minion getting a kill command is just it just makes you like happy inside, seeing that you have just bought so much tempo with a 1-mana card.
He plays it super safe. He decides to heal the Injured Blade Master because there is a possibility of a kill command or Eagle Hornbone top deck.
I would really like to save the circle. I don't think there's like you just can't get countered by Freezing Trap.
Wow. He made the attack. And I don't think this deck actually plays Defender Vargas like we see from time to time in Priest.
Really?
So he might as well just attack.
Oh, okay.
That's a good card.
Yeah.
It's another swingy card in this matchup.
Oh,
that's super important.
But
yeah.
well, yeah, especially. Do you just play Lothlop here, or do you?
I think you play Lothlop because 5/5/5 on turn 5 without even his hero, even his battle cry would be insane.
Yep.
So.
And from Gar's perspective, he's really worried about a card like, or not worried, but expecting a card like Sludge Belcher on turn 5, and Lothar will be able to deal with that.
Yep.
Well, right now there's no good way to deal with this Lothlop, so for Stan, his gameplay is slowing down a bit.
The question for Sten here is, do you attack the Mad Scientist with his Blade Master, or do you just let it live in the hopes of playing Cabal next turn? I think you attack it because of Sylvanas.
You want to play Sylvanas after Hymen, right?
Well, Hymen's going to happen next turn, right?
Yeah,
for Gar, if he has it.
Well, you can use the Shadow Ward Death on Lothar next turn, because using it on Savannah makes almost no sense. In this situation, he has no follow-up, no board clear.
Oh, wow. He can draw Hunter's Mark now. Yeah, Sten doesn't.
Oh, you called it.
Justice.
Okay.
Man.
This looks great for Gara, even though there is a Shadow Word Death and Priest's Hand.
This is why cards for 0 mana are insanely good.
Yep. The fact that Gara is even in the game against a deck almost solely built to counter him is just a testament to the strength of Hunter right now. It's just such. There's a reason it's the best deck.
Also, this line of play is just totally different than we expected. Like it's just not playing. I think this is something you said. Like that's why you said that Hunter is actually advantaged against the Priest. You don't play those small minions. You just keep them and overwhelm Priest with the mid game.
Yeah.
And this is exactly what Gara is doing.
The thing is, it's always like that when you play aggro against control. If the control deck doesn't get his answers, it just dies.
Just a casual 15 damage. No big deal. Your turn, friend.
The trap is the snake trap, right?
It is. It
Yeah,
is.
it is.
It's going to be pretty good against Sylvanas.
There's a chance that it will actually steal
Is this game over just like that?
Not yet.
Well.
Not yet. If he plays double Holy Fires, he can actually manage to somehow turn the tides.
I think it's to play the Leper Gnome here.
Maybe. It's tough to say. The Haunted Creeper has its merit too, just for being more expensive. But I agree with you. I like Leper Gnome a little more.
I think you want to play Haunted Creeper because it's Loot Hoarder can trade with. Oh, it's Snake Trap. Never mind.
It's a snake trap. You'll get snakes and Loot Hoarder. Leper Gnome represents 2 more points of damage, whatever happens. And if he steals the Leper Gnome, it's fine.
Priest would need the Pyromancer here to actually do something, but doesn't get it.
Is the Priest just dead like that? It's going to come down to Sylvanas
Yeah,
RNG.
I think it's just that anyway. Because they're of the snakes.
He has to. He will have 20% chance to steal Sylvanas.
All right, so snakes come down or not.
He has to draw a Pyromancer, play, but then the Sylvanas doesn't die.
So is there any merit to maybe Shadow or Deathing your own Sylvanas? It's
Well,
probably not
There
great.
might be like attack into Leok.
It's
I don't know.
now it's 25% chance to steal.
You need to draw Pyromancer. Attack into Leopardome with Loot Hoarder. Draw Pyromancer. Then attack into Leok. Play Pyromancer. Shadow Ward F your own Sylvanas. And then you're still dead. Because of... oh my god.
Well, I'm very surprised that this turned out the way it did.
Zombie Chow
part of me
Undertaker
is
turn 1.
yeah, zombie turn 1 Undertaker Zombie Chow, one of the best openings in Hearthstone.
Enter Blade Master, Circle of Healing.
On turn 3, yeah, and in a deck just built to counter Hunter, and it still wins. What a class. Blizzard, please.
Oh, there was a nerf already. Buzzard. If he gets a high main, that's...
Oh. Thank you.
Getting a high main wouldn't matter that much even. Gara would be 1 damage of lethal.
So Stein has Paladin.
And he would win anyway, so it didn't matter in the end. Alright, so Gara is up 2-0 versus Stan with his Hunter. Alright, so Stan is going with the handlock.
Oh no, that hand.
Well, maybe he can win.
Undertaker, Haunted Creeper, Mad Scientist.
Yeah, that hand is
it just
pretty good.
lacks the web spinner.
Well, you do
here.
mulligan away the Freezing Trap.
And the Haunted Creeper, I think. I don't think you want double Death Rattle here. I think mulliganing is really powerful against a deck like Handlock because you're looking for such specific cards. Every card you put back is another draw towards a kill command or a Hunter's Mark. Those are cards you really want to draw. I wouldn't even fault him for keeping the Freezing Trap, actually. It's very strong if the Warlock goes first because they can't attack with their first large minion. If Warlock goes second, for example, they usually can't develop a Mountain Giant. You don't have the time to life tap because of the damage you're taking. But if you go first, sometimes you can still develop
Oh
that.
man, I am like this hand starting with Undertaker into Leopardome, going Mad Scientist.
Why? I don't like.
I don't like mauling the Drake.
Yeah, exactly. Like the only.
Yeah.
I get it back. What were you saying?
The same thing happened yesterday, right? Against Hyped. He mulliganed away the Mountain Giant.
Yeah,
Gets
drew
it
2 of
into-
them. Yeah. I said it would before it happened, too.
But the thing is, why would you want to mulligan Twilight Drake? Like the only thing you
Wow.
want to draw instead of a Twilight Drake is an Ancient Watcher.
Ancient,
That
he gets
is
an
a
Ancient
great
Watcher. Ancient
draw.
Watcher is
Yeah.
pretty good.
I would play it here.
I think you
I just
play
played
Ancient
Ancient
Watcher.
Watcher. Yeah, I think you Ancient Watcher here.
I think he's going to... Okay, it looks like he's going for Owl, Soulfire. No, just Owl. No Soulfire. Okay.
I think you play Ancient Watcher.
Different play style like we were talking about, but, it's working out for Sten so far. He is the only player from the open bracket that's still in the tournament, and definitely an impressive showing. So he knows what he's doing. I'm not going to question the plays. He hasn't committed to the Owl yet. It is a bit of a tough turn. It's interesting to see so many more decisions in the early game than we had before Naxxramas. There's many more playable early game cards. You're seeing every class have Haunted Creepers, Iron Beak Owls, just interacting earlier, whereas before it was just kind of hero power pass a lot of the time.
Yeah, and mostly the mid game was the most important. Like, what are you playing turn 5, 6, the power turns.
So lots of decisions throughout the entirety of the game now.
Like, even the mulligans are more important now.
What do you think about Snake Trap here?
It's good
I wouldn't mind Snake Trap.
because
It's a bit of a different play.
Handlock doesn't have an AoE answer until turn 4.
I don't think you'd get the snakes, though, right? I mean, Sten is going to recognize that it's likely Snake Trap.
But why would you want to bounce the owl, right?
Yeah, exactly. And also, he's not. I don't think he's going to play into this, actually. There's no reason to attack a minion with your Owl. You're just going to go face, because if it's Freezing Trap, it doesn't matter. And if it's Snake Trap, it's better for you to go face.
Yeah, Stan recognizes that and goes for face. He knows
Now the
it's a
question
Snake
is
Trap now.
to live tap or play Ancient Watcher. Ancient Watcher has no merit at this point.
Yeah, this is actually a tougher play, but I agree with you out of life tap there as well. But hey, maybe that's why I'm casting.
So you're saying I'm bad too.
All right, so he's gonna
Well,
trade
if he
off
gets
with the
if
owl.
he gets the Sunfury Protector, then
Nope. But Molten Giant will be super important in this matchup.
Wow, these draws have been phenomenal. Like the Watcher into well, the Watcher didn't get played, so it didn't matter. But Drake into Sludge Belcher and Molten, those are some of your best cards in the matchup just overall. So.
But Gyra gets also impressive draws, like Hunter's Mark, Unleash the Hounds. That's really important in this matchup. You have an answer to one Taunted Giant, which is a huge deal.
do you deal with the Twilight Drake right now, or do you just wait?
I think you ignore it. Like until there's a giant threatening hunter, I don't think you just ignore the board because I don't know if Gareth's playing any silences, but you want to draw a silence into Twilight Drake.
But this is also a tricky turn because if you overextend, you can get Hellfire or Shadow Flame. And this Ancient Watcher is just standing there and waiting for it to be Shadow Flame. I like not playing the Leper now.
The
I'm
thing
just
is,
using hero power as much as
you
possible.
can hero power only in the early game against Handlock because you don't want to get him too low. So in mid game and late game, in mid game you don't want to hero power at all. I think.
Leper Gnome is actually not that bad against Handlock. Like, even if you play it later, it still represents 2 points of damage. And you just seen one Iron Beak Owl, so you know that it won't be that easy to silence it.
All right, so looks like Stein is leaning towards Sludge Belcher right here. I like that play too. You just want to use all your mana. Face still playing around Snake Trap, of course. All right.
They're thinking like Stan is threatened right now with 19 points of health. I think his board is pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Look, turn 6 Savannah.
Well, that's definitely a good draw, though. Savannah Highmane is, surprisingly one of the better cards against Handlock. It's just so tough to deal with for any class. And without Starving Buzzard, you're kind of lacking card draw now in Hunter. And Savannah Highmane, just by virtue of how many cards it trades for, is it's a form of card advantage. So
this
just
matchup changed
represents
so
card
much.
draw in other form.
Yeah.
This matchup changed so much. Like, it's more about playing power cards than just getting into those skill commands. But still, Gara is in a good position. He was able to deal like 11 points of damage. His board is threatening. A Leper Gnome represents 2 more.
So Gar is definitely going to Hunter's Mark this turn. He's just trying to decide, do I Unleash the Hounds now or do I save it?
I think you can still Unleash the Hounds.
I think you use it this turn.
And just,
you can still squeeze the hero power, which is good.
Can't Leper Gnome, though, which is a little rough, but not a huge deal, I guess. Well, he's playing this. That means he's going all in, right? Like, you have to just not respect Molten Giant if you're doing this, I think.
Also, you need to leave space for free
No,
snakes.
Gar, you have to attack. That animation is so long.
Oh,
Rope. Belcher's OP. Face boys. Oh, yeah, he's going to play around Molten.
Oh, damn shame.
And Sten has the Molten, so...
But there's no taunts.
Man.
well played.
Yeah, well played by Gara.
Well, he doesn't have a Taunt Giver still. But
He does have a Mortal Coil as well, which is actually a way to make the Giants cheaper.
Wow. Does he see it? Yeah, he sees it.
As long as he doesn't draw a Taunt Giver, Gar's in great shape. If he does draw a Taunt Giver, it's a very different story, though. So it's not a Sun Fury, which is what he was looking for. What do you think about Life Tap Double Molten?
Yeah, I just
Tap
wanted
double
to say
Molten?
that.
Just man up.
But there's 5 points of damage, 7 points of damage threatening you, and you can't attack into anything because there's Snake Traps and Freezing Trap.
well, you can just play double, like tap, double
You
Molten.
know, I think it's all the more reason to Life Tap, actually, because you need to draw a Taunt anyway to win this game.
Yeah.
Might as well try to get into that.
Or just draw into second Soulfire
Yeah.
to get lethal with
What do you
the
guys think
Molten
about
Giants.
Life Tap, double Molten, and so far the Mad Scientist?
It depends on the draw. Like, you Life Tap first, you see what you get,
Yeah.
and you evaluate the game from that point.
It's a very aggressive play to double Molten, but I'm pretty sure it's almost certainly right because it gives you a chance of actually winning the game instead of treading water and losing slowly.
Yeah.
Hunter has only 2 cards in hand. If you kill the Mad Scientist,
Okay, he agrees.
Sapphire is a good card to get. You'll be able to kill something next turn. I'm not sure about attacking here.
Well, you have to trigger the Freezing Trap first, because if you don't do that, you won't be able to threaten lethal next turn. And I would actually not
Save
do that.
Yeah, I would also save the Soulfire.
You can just play it phase, Because if you draw into second Soulfire, you have a chance to discard the second Soulfire, and you want to get lethal next turn.
Now, is Kill Command lethal? It's one short.
There's Bow.
And there is an Animal Companion.
I don't like this as much as playing High Main.
Well, Handmaster is okay-ish. Like, you just negate one attack from Molten Giant. You saw out Soulfire.
Well, Gara can definitely go all in here. You see double Molten, so you can go all in on whatever happens.
You have to count damage. Like, if you play Handmaster, that's 3 points from one dog and 2 points from the other two, so that's 5. And he will be at 6. So Warlock has means to heal himself for maximum 6 at next turn, but that's highly unlikely, I think, because he wasn't playing any Farses before, and he had the time to do that. And yes, now the only option is to Siphon Soul. Siphon Soul will heal you for free, so he will be at 8, and you will still have Handmaster. No, you won't get. You will have 2 dogs remaining after that, so you have to.
Well, what about just a Shadow Flame? I mean, at that point, you don't have lethal either. I like just Bow Hero Power. Put him down to 3.
There are so many decisions with this tracking. Really, every single card is like at the first glance is good, but you have to think about so many stuff.
Still, I think Stan needs to get it on Giver. If he doesn't get it on Giver, he's dead. Siphon Soul is not solving this game.
So Gara agrees. He's going in with the hero power. Now, this is a crucial turn. Does Sten draw the taunt that he needs?
In before Soulfire.
He needs it on Giver, and he gets it. Oh my god.
I think Sten just won this game.
Not necessarily. There is a kill command top deck that can save him.
There is. All right.
And Gara did tracking, so there is a higher chance to get one of the kill commands. But yeah, kill command might be his only out right now.
It's the moment of truth. Tracking would also be a good draw. I think he's only played 1 tracking so far.
Yeah, if he's playing double tracking, tracking is a great draw.
He did draw it so
but he
many
needs the kill
times.
commands, nothing else. And Gara gets an Animal Companion. This is not the card. Given something, was there anything to be able to play the Lepergnome and kill the Lepergnome? No, this is over, whatever he does. 1 damage of lethal. Back-to-back Molten Giant draw.
The 1 damage from Hounds. He was saving 3 points of damage.
Yeah, it's... There's another turn this game where I feel like Gara could have won. There was a turn where he hero powered instead of playing the Lepergnome earlier on, I believe, and that also would have made the difference.
That was turn 4. Mad Scientist hero power instead of Mad Scientist into...
I think he did Scientist Freezing Trap, or was that the other game? I don't know.
You know what? You know what's crazy? If you would
Freezing
take...
Trap was some Mad Scientist. There was no hardcast.
If you would take Animal Companion instead of Eaglehorn Bow and get a Huffer, he would be winning this game right now. Oh, you can attack your own Lepergnome, Gara. This is time to concede. So Stan is going to take 1 game of Gara, stopping his Hunter with a Handlock. This is the 3rd time we are seeing Handlock winning versus Hunter in this tournament.
Yeah, it's slightly favored against Hunter.
Well, if you get double Mountain.
It's his best chance. But again, all of Gara's decks are disadvantaged from this point on. So even though he has the lead in the match, two games to 1 right now, it's very likely that Sten actually wins the series.
Oh, an Arcane Golem. All right.
So
he was testing.
He
was testing with Strifecrow, so I can Strifecrow always packs an Arcane Golem into the deck.
So let's see if Sten knows which version of Warlock this is. He's gonna mulligan for Zoo.
Right decision.
Yep. Maybe Gar's played it earlier this tournament. And no, Gar's pretty much just played Hunter.
Yeah, that's true. But I think you can't risk at this point of tournament when it's you can't risk losing to Zoo.
What was the hand for Stan?
Instant Watcher, Sunfear Protector, all.
That's a good hand.
Yeah, that's insane.
Gara doesn't have a Death Rattle minion to buff the Undertaker. Oh wow. This is
jeez.
This hand is so good.
This is obscene.
It's just amazing.
Just Ancient Watcher next to an owl.
But I think it's still coin the owl. Like he did that many times before. I
Coin
mean, you
the
don't.
owl.
Well, you
No,
don't.
that's
You
not
don't have
correct
to.
at
But
all.
I would be not surprised if we see that play. He respects this Undertaker so much.
I respect it enough to kill it with my 2-mana 4/5.
Yeah, it's actually the same as turn 1 Innervate Yeti with coin. That's the exact same play. And
Yeah, I would definitely Ancient Watcher, but
Oh boy.
he just loves that play.
I don't know, I don't like it. It's just you become passive with this kind of play because the Ancient Watchers will be not able to attack.
Mm-hmm.
And if you would just play it other way around, you would be the aggressor against Zoo, and that's super important to maintain tempo.
Look at just the power of Undertaker. Gar's hand had 0 death rattles. The card was going to be literally worse than Goldshire Footman, and it still got a coin and an owl from his opponent. Just the threat that it represents is so strong. He does have the opportunity here to Direwolf Alpha and Abusive Sergeant to trade into that Watcher. I think that's the play I would make. You're going to have to get through it at some point anyway. Might as well be now.
But on turn 2, on turn 3, you can wait 1 turn.
Yeah, you can probably wait. You just seen coins. So there's no way for Shadow Flame next turn or Hellfire. So you can just deal as much damage as possible this turn and deal with the board next turn.
You can play the.
I like this play. I like the life tap. I don't think that's immediately apparent as the best play, but it's strong.
It was a good decision.
Yeah, the other option was to play Direwolf instead, basically. And if your opponent had a Soulfire at that point, then you wouldn't be able to kill the Watcher anymore. So, the hand is running low on resources. So this is also a lot of reasons to life tap here.
Also, if you wanted to develop the Undertaker anyway, then just getting an extra card and a chance to have a Death Rattle card is pretty good.
Mm-hmm. So he's going to get in for 3.
All right, so that's a board. I mean, there is a lot of minions, and with double Direwolf, that will be even more power. Stan would need a clear at some point, but right now he's just playing a Sunfree Protector. This will render an Ancient Watcher useless.
All right, so Gar's going to be killing these Watchers, I think, if he can. Just to play around Defender of Argus. If you wait for the turn 4 Defender, which Sten could potentially have, then you have to not just get through 10 points of health, but 12. So
Yep. This is signalizing a strong Defender of Argus.
So the positioning of Direwolf can actually give him much more points of damage, I think.
Right.
If you put it in the middle, no, it doesn't make sense. Well,
you can buff all 4 of your minions, and then
that's +4, so it's basically the same as playing Abusive Sergeant and Direwolf Alpha. It's less than Direwolf, 1 Direwolf Alpha and Abusive Sergeant, because if you play both Direwolf Alpha, they will be neighbors at some point of sacrificing creatures. And if you play Abusive Sergeant, you can squeeze more attacks with buffs from the Direwolf Alpha.
I agree. But still, those Ancient Watchers are tanking 10 points of damage, which is a lot with this small board of minions.
Like either way, you have to. Yeah, I don't like this as much as double Direwolf. Like either way, you're gonna have to trade off all your minions to deal with the board.
He will trade off with that play, I think. Now it would be Direwolf in middle.
Interesting.
Why not Direwolf
I think
Alpha?
he's playing Golem.
He can play Harvest Golem, yeah.
Just to sort of hedge against a Shadow Flame. Yeah, I would have just double wolfed and traded the board for his board. That makes some sense though. If you don't Harvest Golem this turn, when are you gonna play it really?
Warlock is the only deck that can actually clear the board with his own minion and still be in play because of his hero power. That's the only deck.
Yeah, you just refill. As long as you keep an advantage, you can always hero power and get the minions back. I think here you just play Twilight Drake.
I agree. It's tempting to Sun Fury though. Looking at a decent amount of damage. Don't have Molten Giant just yet. I do think it's the better play.
He's pretty conservative with protecting his health pool. Flame Imp is a nice pickup. You can play the whole hand, but do you want to play everything? Right now you're facing again a double 4/5. So if there was a Shadow Flame.
Oh, okay. Doomguard is really important. So let's hope he doesn't draw into Soulfires or second Doomguard next turn.
This matchup is so tricky, by the way, because you want to deal damage, you want to trade the board, and you are afraid of Molten Giants.
That's why Zoo is not so easy to play.
In this matchup especially, it's a lot of situations there really is no right play because, you know, one right play will walk into Molten Giant. The other play will walk into Shadow Flame or Hellfire. The best strategy overall, at least on ladder, is to just kind of go face aggressively and make them have it. If they play early Ancient Watchers, I do tend to kill those to play around Shadow Flame, and because they're going to get taunted at some point anyway, might as well kill them early. But, yeah, overall, it's just you got to go face and hope they don't have it. Make Handlock have the answers. And if you play like Sten has been playing this game with minimal life tapping, it's actually a lot less likely that he has all the pieces he needs to punish you.
That's true.
By the way, if he doesn't play Sunfury Protector, he's dead. Gara has 16 points of damage.
Yeah.
Let's see if he agrees with that. He's gonna life tap. That means he is gonna Sun Fury. Okay, second Sun Fury is not bad. He's gonna need to draw Molten next turn, I think.
And life tap into second Molten.
This is 5.
Really?
9, 11. So he's not dead yet.
Now would be Doomguard or.
But this looked desperate. Like if I would be Gara, I would be saying, "Hey, this looks good. Maybe there is a Molten Giant, but if he taps and only Sun Fury."
All right, so the best play here is definitely Direwolf Harvest Golem.
Yeah.
Well, not definitely, but I think it's the best play.
Well, you trade Flame Imp for Ancient Watcher.
Yeah, that's pretty
Flame
good.
Imp for Ancient Watcher. Kill the 2/3 with maybe.
You buff your
even a
Undertaker. Yeah, you get another Death Rattle minion to make you more resilient against AoE.
Yeah, I agree. And you don't have to life tap even, because it's just you can even squeeze if you draw 1/2 drop. Next turn you can squeeze that in with the Doomguard.
All right.
I think like Doomguard should be changed to have like 3/5 stats and get +1/+1 for every card discarded.
That'd be kind of interesting.
That's a totally different card.
Yeah, but the power of a 5/5/7.
I like making Void Caller good, so I want it to be strong. Oh, he's gonna respect the Molten. All right, he needs to dodge that exact card.
Okay. That changes a lot.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the
He will
single
be left
copy
with
of Hellfire.
4 points of damage, 9.
So he will be at 1 or 2. 2 minions will be left, so that's 4. That's 9 damage.
Yeah, that's 2 damage.
2 damage. So drawing into Abusive Sergeant,
Abusive
second
Sergeant
copy, or Soulfire, or.
I don't think you can afford to play Sun Fury here. You need that to
Yeah.
stabilize. Okay, so Gar's.
That's actually, there's no way to.
Oh, do you go for the 50? No, well.
There's wait. Oh, there actually is a 50-50 chance to win the
But
game right
that's
here.
so risky. If you
You need the
discard
Doomguard, right? Yeah.
You need the Doomguard here.
Especially after seeing double Sun Fury.
There's when Handlock just used both Sun Furies, you're almost certain that there will be no combination of Molten Giant Defender of Argus next turn.
Yeah,
Because
there is no Molten Giants for sure. Because
Yeah.
if there will be a Molten Giant, he would just play Molten Giant instead of Sun Fury. So you know there's no Molten Giant. You know Jaraxxus is in a possible 3 turns. So you're not afraid of Jaraxxus for Alexstrasza. What else was there?
Farseers.
He's going to go for it.
Oh, really?
Oh my god, Gara is going for 50%.
Oh.
And he loses
But
that.
that's still 6 points of damage.
But
All
now
right.
there's a Siphon Soul.
So this is insane. Basically, I think that Hellfire may have been the only card Sten could have drawn.
Look at that.
Gets a Molten Giant.
So if he would actually save the Sun Fury, he would just won. Unless there will be second Soulfire.
But that Hellfire draw into the Soulfire, like the Soulfire draw, oh man. Just
now Gara is 2 damage of lethal.
That is the
He
only
needs to
card
top
Gara
deck.
didn't want to see, because now he only has 1 Soulfire left in his deck.
2
for the
points of
rest of the
damage
game.
and Gara will win this. And this is not what he needed. Those are the blanks.
Oh my god.
I think he shouldn't risk it with the Soulfire. That was really like
Oh,
pulling
man.
some.
I think it might have been right to risk it, honestly.
Sludge Belcher top deck.
No, this
Wow.
is getting.
Now this is well. I think this is
Worry.
over. He needs a Soulfire.
He needs any buff, and he wins. Right?
Wait.
He has
wait.
He has the owl.
He has
so
owl.
you just need any buff for your Haunted
Yeah.
Creeper. Or you need Sten to attack face.
If Sten goes face. But
Why
there's-
would you go face?
There's no reason to go
Yeah.
face. Like you have a giant.
Okay, there are a lot of cards that buff damage in Zoo. He just needs a Defender, a Soulfire,
Like even a
a
Doomguard.
Doomguard.
This is a blank.
Oh man.
And this is...
Oh!
He gets it.
Arcane Golem. And with that,
my God.
Gara takes the series, I believe, right? 3-1.
Yeah, that's 3-1.
Yeah,
3-1.
that's 3-1.
Congratulations to
Wow.
Gara to advancing to the final second time in Bucharest. That's insane. Like, if he wins the finals, this will be the first time ever in Hearthstone when one person
As
wins.
a back-to-back champion of one Dreamhack in one place.
That will be insane.
Yeah, also the only person to have won 2 Dreamhacks in Hearthstone.
Yeah,
Two
because there were
Dreamhacks.
only 4 Dreamhacks.
All right, guys.
Won
He has a
50%.
Dreamhack win rate.
That's insane.
Let's interview the guys.
Hello guys, I'm staying here with Stein from the RUZ Gaming, and hi, how are you?
I'm fine.
Yeah, you're fine. You should be tired probably today.
Yeah, I'm very tired. The group stages, in particular, were very tiresome. So yeah.
There were a lot of games to play over the week, and you weren't invited. You were only non-invited player in the finals.
Yes.
Do you think
Semi-finals.
in semifinals? I'm sorry. Do you think the invited player has some big advantage?
Yes, I think they have a huge advantage, especially if they because they can see what other people play, for one. For two, they are more fresh and they can see what the other invited players play. And most of the players advancing to the round of 8 are invited players, so they have an edge on most invited player. I came here not really expecting to get so far, so I had a lot less time to prepare decks for the 5 decks matchups, to train them and to see what what the other players play.
I just wanted to ask about one play you made in a semi-final. It was with a handlock when you choose to silence Undertaker.
Yeah. Yeah, I have to say it was a very weird play. I had, when I mulliganed, I had in my hand the Ancient Watcher and the 2-mana Soundgiver.
Sun Fury?
Yeah, the Sun Fury Protector. And I was just so focused on that play, I didn't see the Owl Ancient Watcher. It was just tunnel vision from the stress. It's really being cast for the first time. It's all very stressful. So, and also I was still tired from the last 2 days. So yeah, also handlock. I played like 40 games. I was diehard. I used to be a diehard Zoo player. So yeah, still, it was mainly the stress and the being tired. Yeah.
Okay. Overall, how do you like these live events? Do you miss them? Do you think you will play them more? And
yeah, I think we'll be returning with my teammates as well. They were also very promising. We had some bad luck and we had some team kills because we came in the same group. So I think we proved we can advance in international tournaments. So I think we will be here again and maybe other Dreamhacks or other international tournaments. And of course we will still do the Benelux, bigger local tournaments as well. Yeah.
okay, that's it, guys. That's Sign from the RUZ Gaming. I wish you all good luck and hope I'll see you on the scene. Yeah,
Alright.
thank you. Bye.
Bye.